Welcome back! In this video, we'll see how to configure PortaBilling as an online charging system for voice calls. We'll set this up for our example MVNO, SuperTel, which relies on the MNO's mobile core network. In 4G and 5G networks, the component responsible for providing the voice services and interacting with the online charging system is the IP Multimedia Subsystem, or IMS. The IMS supports both voice over LTE and voice over 5G networks, also known as Voice over New Radio. The IMS communicates with PortaBilling over the diameter ROA interface for real-time authorization and charging for voice calls. Before we start, we'll assume that a few basics are already in place for our SuperTel MVNO scenario. A reliable network connection is established between the mobile carrier's core and PortaBilling. If needed, create a VPN connection. Subscriber data provisioning is configured so that events such as SIM card assignment, account blocking or termination, and service package changes trigger corresponding updates in the mobile network. The PortaBilling origin host and origin realm values are configured on the MNO side, so the mobile core knows where to send the diameter requests. Billing via the diameter ROA protocol is enabled on the configuration server web interface. The IMS identifiers are provided by the MNO. These identifiers are included in the origin host and origin realm fields of diameter requests sent from the mobile core to PortaBilling. With these prerequisites in place, let's move on to the configuration. Setting up voice services for an MVNO in PortaBilling typically includes these steps. Add the MNO's IMS as a node. Configure the MNO as a vendor. Create the vendor account, vendor tariff, and connection. Set up distinct services for outgoing and incoming calls to ensure minutes are deducted correctly from customer bundles. Create customer tariffs for outgoing and incoming calls. We'll go through the product setup later in this series. We need to add the MNO's IMS as a node to enable it to exchange charging requests with PortaBilling. Go to Infrastructure, Nodes, and click Add. Enter a name, for example, Voice Node. In the Node ID field, enter the origin host value you received from the MNO. In the IP address field, specify the IP address of the MNO's equipment. Since the node will be identified solely by the node ID, the IP address is used just for information purposes. Under Manufacturer, select Porta1, or if available, the specific vendor of the core network. This is only needed if Porta1 has added special handling for the vendor's proprietary attributes. Set type to generic. Enable communication with billing and set the client protocol to diameter. Then enter the origin realm value provided by the MNO. Finally, click Save to add the node. Next, we'll add the MNO as a vendor so that PortaBilling can calculate the cost of voice calls for the MVNO, and this information can be used for reconciliation. The wholesale per minute rates negotiated with the MNO should be put in the vendor tariff. Go to Service Catalog, Tariffs, and click Add. Enter a name, for example, MNO voice calls. Set the currency. Under Service, choose Voice Calls. For Apply to, select Vendor. Leave the routing toggle disabled. You can enter rates manually or upload them from a file. For now, let's add a test rate for some destination. Now let's add a vendor itself. This step is needed only if the MNO hasn't been added as a vendor before, for example when configuring LTE services. Go to Infrastructure, Vendors, and click Add. Enter a name such as MNO vendor. Set billing parameters and add a connection. Type in a short description for this connection, for example voice calls. Select Voice Calls Service Type. Select PSTN under Type of Connections. Select To Vendor. Under Direction, select the vendor tariff you just created, MNO voice calls. Select the node you added earlier, Voice Node. Enter any reasonable number in the capacity field that reflects the expected number of concurrent calls. This value is used only for scaling the load graphs and doesn't actually limit call capacity. Leave the gateway ID and port fields empty. That's it, the vendor setup is complete, and PortaBilling can now track wholesale costs for mobile calls. To deduct bundle minutes correctly, PortaBilling must distinguish between outgoing and incoming calls. For example, if a customer receives an incoming call, minutes from their outgoing calls bundle should not be used. To handle this, we'll use two separate services when setting up the product later. For outgoing calls, use the default service voice calls. For incoming calls, create a new service of the same type, for example, voice calls incoming. Let's create the second service. Go to Service Catalog, Services and click Add. Then fill in the details. Set name, select type voice calls. Keep the default rating base. Select second for base unit and minute for billing unit. Leave the default base ratio. Select yes for user charge. You can later choose the appropriate text code for your setup. Finally, click Save. To enable your customers to make and receive calls, you need to create two tariffs, one for outgoing calls and another for incoming calls. Usually, service providers don't charge subscribers for incoming calls, since these calls don't generate any costs. That's why the tariff for incoming calls will include a single rate with a zero price per minute. Let's start with the outgoing calls tariff. Go to Service Catalog, Tariffs and click Add. Enter a name, for example, Customer Voice Outgoing. Select the voice calls service, set the currency, and apply the tariff to customers. You can enter rates manually or upload them from a file. For this demo, let's add a test rate manually. Next, create the incoming calls tariff. Name it Customer Voice Incoming. Select the previously created voice calls incoming service and apply the tariff to customers. Now add a rate for incoming traffic. To make sure customers aren't charged for incoming calls to any of their numbers, for example a local mobile number or an additional US or UK number, add a single zero price rate using the wildcard special rate code. These two tariffs will later be linked to your retail products, ensuring accurate rating for both call directions. That's it for the voice call setup. In this video, we configured PortaBilling as an online charging system for mobile voice calls, added the MVNOs IMS as a node, set up the vendor and tariffs. With PortaBilling, you get reliable online charging for voice services on any network, 4G or 5G. In the next video, we'll move on to SMS messaging, which completes the core set of services every MVNO needs to offer. Don't forget to check the video description for links to the PortaBilling documentation and configuration guides. Thanks for watching and see you soon!